Say hey, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Alongside me is my dad, Jimmy the Bag. Jimmy, hello. How are you? First of
I'm
all,
I am good. It is great to see you, Jose, on this Monday, this beautiful Monday.
Mhm.
Where's the counter? I don't see the counter. What number are we at for?
Hmm,
Come on, I'm pumped. I need to know this
have faith.
ridiculous journey you're on of doing this show every single day of the baseball season. I need to know.
Well, we'll get there, Jimmy. We'll get there. We don't officially start the show until that counter comes up. So
Okay.
technically, the show's not even begun. So
Oh,
don't you worry
perfect.
about that. But I would like to first ask you how your weekend was. You had a big weekend. You had a nice little wedding. Huh?
Yes, I had a big weekend. My uh, partner's cousin got married, and Ella was the flower girl.
I
And
hope that she didn't hear you say partner.
well, I don't know what to call her. I mean, she's not my wife.
Okay, yeah, that's well. I would assume she'd want that title, but I'm just glad she's not listening right now.
I just don't know what to call her because she gets upset when I call her girlfriend. And
Exactly.
when I said my girl one time, she was like, "You sound like a fucking loser." That's what she told me.
That
So
is true. That is true. I would agree with that. You do sound like a '90s greaser when you say that.
so yeah, I don't know what to call her because she's not my wife. But the wedding was great. Ella looked so beautiful as the flower girl, and we just got annihilated. We drank so much, and I was planning on drying up. I was gonna dry up, but then I don't know, nerves, Jose. I don't know what it is, but I just poured this stiff vodka right here. So I'm back, baby. I'm back.
What was the rule? It's Friday to Monday. You can drink.
Yes, I don't drink from Sunday to Thursday, but I broke that rule for you today for you. And look at all these great cappers in the chat. I'm really excited to be here. And Cheshire Cat says I call my girlfriend my special lady friend. Well, I'm
Well, that's
control your best. Says call her your baby mama.
also
Uh,
true. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. It says call her my sexy maiden.
Alexis calls me her houseboy / sex slave, if that counts.
Well,
So,
I respect Alexis. I respect that she
oh,
wears the
sorry,
pants.
Helga. Excuse me.
Who's it?
I
Helga?
called her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apologies.
I respect it. I respect it very
She's gonna
much.
like that. She's gonna like that. I called her the A word.
Oh, is she? Yeah.
She is, yeah. She got real fed up this weekend. I called her Helga. I don't know what, and she got fed up. She's like, "You're calling me Helga too much," and I was like, "You know what? Fine. I'll try to cut back." So shout out to Helga still.
Moose money in the chat. He said that's a great rule. I generally go Monday to Friday, weekends only. I'm going to do that too. I just I kind of got a little caught up with my own day to day activities, and so when I realized, oh shit, I got to do the show with Jose, I just went to my closest friend, which is my liquor cabinet, and I got ready to rock. And,
But the people want to know, Jimmy.
yeah.
First of all, how long ago was that? How long ago did you realize that?
Well, let me start by saying that, and as you guys know, who roll with Jose and I Tuesday to Friday, that preparation means everything to me. It really does, and I work so hard to be prepared because you want to sort of play off. People see the way I look and maybe smell the booze on me and think I'm not going to be prepared. So I make sure that I'm more prepared than everybody else. But I
Sure.
called Jose out of friendship about
Yes.
17 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I called him out of friendship, and I
Because I
told
needed
him
his counsel.
Yeah.
He's a wise man.
So out of friendship, I called him and I said, have a great show today. And he informed me that I was his guest on today's show.
Yeah, you're on it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so we're rolling, we're riding. This is gonna be a great show. A little Jimmy, a loose Jimmy here, a little Jimmy Unchained. Unprepared Jimmy is my favorite Jimmy, and I'm excited about it. But first, I think that people really want to know, since you're not a married man yet, you say you don't have a wife, you're gonna have a wedding, obviously, and that wedding will be a great occasion. I assume all the low baggers will be invited. However, I do want to know who the elite, maybe 3 guys, 4 guys, who's gonna be in your groom's party. And
I
and
don't.
I ask that because I want you to hear you say that I'm in it. That's all I want. But whatever.
I don't think we party like that. I think we get married. Vegas, fucking Elvis marries us, and we call it a day. That's more our style.
But
We're
can
not
I
into
marry you?
if you get your license, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This is recorded, Jimmy. I just want you to remember that this is recorded.
No,
I will get my license and I will marry you. No
you know,
problem. In Vegas, wherever you want. In
you know,
Saskatchewan, Moose John.
Fong, my partner just doesn't sound right, but my partner, she likes you very much, Jose. She always has. And when we had our run-in over in San Antonio, and she was sure that it was my fault. She really likes you.
And she was, and she's right. She's right. She's right.
I don't know. I don't know.
She might have been right. Hey, it's okay though. We've San Antonio's ages ago. We're gonna see each other again soon. I'm sure everything will go well, especially. And by the way, I didn't even change my name on my thing. So shout out to me and shout out to Preston, by the way, calling me out too.
Nice.
So shout out to Nothing Nice, a great show on Pub Culture Radio.
And you know what else, though? Nothing nice. I can really tell that you're in great spirits. You know why? Because I saw your record. And that's why you're so fucking happy-go-lucky.
I'm big dicking right now. Yeah. If I was shitty, Jimmy, I'd be like, Jimmy, what the fuck? You didn't prepare. It's your job to get me out of this fucking hole. What are you doing? But no, I've been big dicking for 2 days now. I had a great day 2 days ago. I said yesterday was a horrible, horrible card, and I still managed to pull 2 and 2 out of my ass. Fucking no units like nothing even happened. You know what, Jimmy? And while I stalled all this time so I can make this lovely video that I also forgot to make, Jimmy. So we're on to Say Hey Plays 96.
Wow.
There we go. Say Hey Plays 96. We're almost at Say Hey 100, which I'm sure you'll be a part of in some form or fashion.
I would like that. Also, something that happened to me in my first few years working has reared its ugly head, and that's not succeeding on Fridays. Back-to-back Fridays, and a couple mistakes are being made. My quantity of action is skyrocketing because it's Friday night. I want to have action. I want to enjoy myself and not talk to others. And I am tired, I guess, from the hard work that goes in all week to producing the show. And Friday, so I had a bad Friday. So unlike your
load on Fridays,
I'm really upset. I'm fucking pissed off. Jose, and when I see how happy you are, you now have a 20 unit, you're 20 units better than me on the year right now in baseball.
Well, Jimmy, it was a while that you were going to catch me, and I needed a fire. I needed something. I needed motivation. Because the baseball season's long. It's treacherous. We're in the dog days right now, and sometimes a hungry dog needs to run a little harder. And you made me hungry, Jim. So I appreciate that.
Did you? Sorry, we love your quotes. Did you say a quote unquote a hungry dog sometimes needs to run a little harder?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's how the saying goes. That's how the saying goes.
That is not a saying. Jesus.
Do you guys like it's a combination of being like fake dyslexic, Venezuelan, and knowing English obviously really well, but still throwing my Spanish brain in there as well. So it's great. Shout out to Stick in the Wind play as well.
Stick in the Wind, man. We need a song for that. But sometimes a hungry dog needs to run a little hard. Alex Gagnon likes it. Alex likes it.
Thank you. I might get that tattooed. Here's a fun fact about me. I am planning to get a whole forearm sleeve one day, and it does not. It does not fit me. It does not fit my personality. No.
Jesus, that's gonna look fucking awful, dude. That's gonna look terrible, man. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I'm not wealthy, obviously, so I'm not getting it anytime soon, and I am kind of a bitch as well, so that seems like a scary process. But yeah,
that's a nice combination, a poor and a bitch. That's a nice combination. With the St. Peter's, I remember I gave Nutflush the bet if the St. Peter's Peacocks won the NCAA championship, I was going to get the full back tat of the St. Peter's Peacock winking. And I was so confident that those guys that Cinderella story was going to end. So
I would have been nice. I could picture it now. I often you just remind me of it, and I can just picture it so clearly. The feathers and the head peeking out from your neck. When you're wearing a shirt, the eyes just droop over, and you can barely see it. And it's a good conversation piece.
Oh man, your tat sleeve is going to be laugh out loud funny. You might want to think about doing a few push-ups before you get that sleeve.
I'd rather not.
No.
That's also one of the factors too. I am noodle armed, as they say.
They don't say noodle arms. We call you heroin arms. That's one of the things we call you. We call you toddler arms. Those are not noodle. No.
Okay, fair enough. You know what, Jim? How about we talk about a little baseball before
Let's get into a little baseball, Jose. Great to see everybody here. By the way, Lonnie Smith says a hungry lion does run harder or it dies. So maybe you weren't that far off. Man, it's great to see everybody here for Jose's Say Hey Plays of the Day. Thankful to be a guest. Let's get to work.
Jimmy, you make me laugh. You make me laugh. Miami Marlins, Pittsburgh Pirates, the first game on our slate here. And unfortunately, Jim, let's write it down. July 11th, 2022, the moment the Pirates team total died for me, unfortunately. Brian Reynolds on the IL, 15-day with an oblique. So I'm not going to be taking it for the time being. Brian Reynolds, their best hitter. I like Brian Reynolds a lot. He should have been an all-star. But, oblique injury. Shout out to Bednard, who's going to be the all-star for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and who the Pirates have already said they're not trading at all. So maybe he's going to be a bucko for a while. Maybe a little bucko action for him. But right now we've got our good mutual friend here, Jimmy. I don't know if you know who's pitching today. I don't know. I don't know if you know that, but we've got Mitch Keller today, Jim. I don't know.
Yeah. No, she's beautiful.
Yeah, she looks good. I'm glad that you did do that research.
Who says flat-chested women can't be incredibly attractive? Can you pull her up one more time?
Yeah.
Who says that?
I mean,
that's ridiculous. Flat-chested women can be gorgeous. Look at her.
Of course. They have to make up for it in other aspects. And obviously this person right here makes up for it in the face.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm glad that we've got on the same page there. Shout out to flat-chested women out there. Trevor Rogers on the other side, who makes it very interesting. I think this is one of the guys on this show that I just want no part of either way. And when I do bet on or against him, I usually lose. So I'm going to keep staying off of him here. I'd be somewhat interested in the Pirates, but like I said, Brian Reynolds, he's kind of the heartbeat of that team offensively, is really, really scary. And if O'Neal Cruz is going to win the NL Rookie of the Year, starts now. Keep this Pirates team afloat without the best player. That'd be pretty interesting indeed. But I had to stay off this game just for the people in the back's sake. 23rd are the Pirates are against lefty these last 3 weeks. And right now the Miami Marlins are 24th against righties, 24th in this 88 weighted runs created plus, and that's 90 weighted runs created plus for the Pirates. Mitch Keller coming off a, okay start against the Yankees, which is pretty surprising to say against a Yankee squad that is so vaunted, Jimmy. So vaunted. I heard they were the best team in baseball. That's what I heard. 6 innings, 10 hits, 4 earned runs, 7 Ks, 1 walk, 2 home runs there. And then Trevor Rogers coming off an Angel start, 4 2/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks. Noli knows says it best right there. He says, my man O'Neal Cruz is not going to be winning the NL Rookie of the Year hitting 200. So let's pick it up. O'Neal, I believe in you, my guy. It's time.
It's so funny you think he can win Rookie of the Year because we use, what we use to judge baseball players, Jose, statistics.
Yeah.
And they tell us that he's barely going to hit over the Mendoza line
right now.
Yes, in the only season we've seen him play baseball
so far. Yeah. Let's look. Let me pull up his OPS right now. Let's because if we're gonna batting average is a little outdated. Hold on, I want to pull up his OPS. By the way, he already. Oh no, that's a projected WAR. He's got a 0 WAR so far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not bad. Hey, I'll pull up the full WAR leaderboards right now, Jimmy. Don't make me. I'll look up what Mike Trout versus Vladdy Jr.'s WAR is right now. He's got a 681 OPS, so a little below average. I believe in O'Neal. Come on, O'Neal.
Come on.
I believe in you.
No, you're a stick in the wind. Preston's got ideas for your sleeve.
Bill Simmons forearm portrait. I will admit, I love myself a little Bill Simmons. I just got done listening to his podcast like 20 minutes ago.
I like that. Bill Simmons with big, beautiful tits and a sword. And a sword that kind of hangs right in between Bill's tits. When we talk about Trevor Rogers, the home-away splits must be talked about immediately.
Please.
At home, he's 2-4 with a 7.98 ERA. and opponents are hitting .317 against him. He's allowed 7 home runs and 29 in the third innings. And you know what Sports Insights thinks about that, Jose?
Oh my God. If they say it, I'm need new pants. I had to censor myself there. Oh, please tell me, Jimmy.
There's only one team with full line value on today's baseball card.
It's not dead.
That is the Pittsburgh Pirates.
It's back. It's back. It's fucking back. All right, hold on. I've got to take the team total.
That is the Buccos here. The Buccos, and 30% of the tickets are on the Pirates, 39% of the cash. One would say that's a perfect spot to bet on them. Then you have 76% of the tickets and just 58% of the cash on the over. So some big bets have come in on the under. So there's a feeling that Mitch Keller will pitch well here on the road. At Bet365, there's been a 10-cent move to the Marlins with all of that public money on them. The total's gone from 8 to 7.5, and that 7.5 has gone from the under's gone from -110 to -115 to -120 to -125. So you're telling me that Keller is going to have a nice start here, and Trevor Rogers will continue struggling at home, and there must then be value on the Pittsburgh Pirates, Jose.
God, that's hilarious. After that, after me saying that I thought Brian Reynolds is gonna, and when I say Brian Reynolds, I hear Ryan Reynolds too. But when him coming out of the lineup, I mean, it truly makes it interesting. And one of my cardinal sins too, and Noli's gonna laugh when I say this. I usually don't bet the Pirates when O'Neill Cruz is not in the lineup, even though he's hitting 200 and he's still electric though. And he brings a lot to that Pirates lineup, no matter what he does. He's not listed today. He's got there's no well, I should say there's a lefty, so you don't see O'Neill playing against many lefties. So Brian, I keep saying Kevin Hayes. I don't know why. If I'm thinking hockey, I'm thinking about the Bruins actually. Shout out to the guy whose name I forgot right now.
David Krejci.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Shout out to David Krejci. He's coming back, and the Bruins are back. I'm not moving on this game, though. I think full line value would make me just say take the Pirates team total here, but I'm not going to move on it. This might be a low-scoring, like 1-0 game. No, Brian Reynolds really scares me off, but that's really funny that, of course, there's line value today on my Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, an enormous amount of line value on your Pirates. Newman, Hayes, Chavez, Vogelbach, Castillo, Gamble, Van Meter, Marisnik, Jason DeLay. Oh, that's an awful lineup, dude.
I disagree. Michael Chavis is electric. That's the ice horse right there.
Wendell, Cooper, Aguilar, Garcia, Sanchez, Anderson, De La Cruz, Rojas, and Stallings.
I'm gonna abstain from watching this game. This is not the game I'm going to be watching today. You know what game I'm going to be watching though, Jimmy? Oh, and by the way, I just looked at myself on the screen. I'm wearing the jersey I wore the day that we took all those shots together, and I got super drunk and threw up all over myself.
Oh, that was a magical day. I remember it well. Shout out to Jason Prince. Noli No says, think Keller deals. At this point, I don't see how I can stay off of these Pirates. By the way, I've made 0 bets today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But I don't see how I could stay off of the Pittsburgh Pirates. You've been watching them closely. You've mentioned their bullpen as being hideous many, many times. Has it gotten any better? What are your stats on the Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen over the last week? And if they're atrocious, would it be best to take the Pirates first 5 instead of the full game?
I would rather have them first 5 normally. It's just Bednar is really the guy that they just it's all or nothing on Bednar. I'm pulling up their team stats right now. We'll just do this whole month. How are they doing in the month of July? Any July plans, Jimmy? Any doing anything interesting for July?
Well, I was hoping to move my family into a house and get them out of this fucking Parkdale shithole.
Not going well?
It's not going well, no.
Not going well. They're the 3rd worst bullpen ERA this month. 4.69, very nice. Only followed by our leaders are the Cincinnati Reds and the Royals are worse than them. So not ideal. They do have a 1.6 WAR. So
and against lefties hitting this month. Give me that, and that will tell the tale if I take the Pirates first 5.
Sure. Lefties against lefties this month. And shout out to not sponsor, but a website that we use often. Maybe they should sponsor the damn show for how often we talk about them. Fangraphs, I'd say go subscribe to them. Go give them your money to stay alive. Against lefties, we'll split this up now. See, you're just making me do all this work. Versus lefties, this is what capping in real time in advance looking like for the people at home. Weighted runs created plus. Would you like that?
Mm-hmm.
This month against lefties. Pittsburgh is 27th, 85 weighted runs created plus.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So do you think that Rogers will continue pitching
Hold on, let me
the
double.
way
Let
he
me.
has at home? I mean, I think it comes down to that. I mean, Mitch Keller had a much better June. He started looking like the old Mitch Keller. He didn't allow a home run all of June.
By the way, I lied. It's 24th, 85. So there you go. Feels a little better. Worst number, but higher in the league.
Now, if you're sitting there at home going, why are they still talking about this shit game? There's only 9 games on the card. So it does give us a little bit of leeway.
I wanted to move on from this game like 5 minutes ago, Jim.
You know how I cap. I dive deep, baby.
I know. I know. You're well prepared. We all know it. We all know it, Jim.
I think Pittsburgh first 5 is live. That's what I think. I think Pittsburgh's first 5 is live. I don't know if I'll pull the trigger, but I'm thinking about it heavily. Let's move on.
Okay, you know what makes me laugh? Just the image of you laying in bed, talking to me on the phone. We talk this out. You figure out that we're gonna do this show here, and now 20 minutes later, you're like, all right, well, it's time to put $200 on the Pirates. Here we go.
It would be $150. I stopped betting $200 on baseball a little while ago. But yeah, you know what, Jose, we are risk takers and we love it. We fucking love it. And you're up 20 units. You being a successful risk taker. I'm only up 2, but I think the Pirates are live here and shouldn't be as big of a dog as they are against this shit Marlins squad. So I'm interested.
How sweaty are your hands?
They are surprisingly a little shiny because I don't have confidence in the Pittsburgh Pirates, and it would be a risky thing to put $150 on them.
That's why I'm laughing. That is why I'm laughing. I'm just the image of you laying in bed and then 20 minutes later now stressing out a Pirates bet that you'll be enjoying for the rest of your night.
I would prefer if you stopped talking about me laying in bed. I think first.
Were you not?
It doesn't matter if I was. You've repeated it twice in the last 30 seconds. I would like to never hear it come out of your mouth again. That's what I would like.
That's just stuff I think about. Boston Red Sox versus the Tampa Bay Rays here. And we're back, Jim. We talked about my newest baby boy, Brian Bello. And he did that was one of the low points of my season, just being mentally broken by Brian Bello there. I should have probably expected a rookie to not pitch well, a rookie that was nervous. And I want to back him here, Jim. I'm such an asshole, Jim. I want to back him here. Money has gone towards the Red Sox here. It's minus 110, like 2 hours ago. Now it's minus 115, minus 105 here. No for Wander for the Rays.
For weeks.
For weeks, yeah. You got a hamate. And I think Jordan is going to go down that path as well. So just be careful as well on your futures bets on the Astros. But I want to back the Red Sox here, truthfully. They miraculously pull a split from the greatest team since sliced bread, the New York Yankees, with the best lineup ever, and the future MVP and Aaron Judge, the $500 million man, and Aaron Judge, and their elite bullpen. Jimmy, have you ever heard about the elite bullpen, Jimmy? Jimmy, their bullpen is so good, just so good. And the Red Sox somehow got a split. How is that possible? I don't know. What do you have any thoughts on this game? Any money line movement here on this one?
Yes, I will add that to this mix, but I think this is the perfect opportunity for your young fireballer in a game that's going to be half empty. There'll be more Red Sox fans than Rays fans.
Correct.
There won't be pressure on him that he felt.
He's going down tomorrow, probably.
I didn't want him in his first start, but I could understand why somebody would want him in his second start against the Rays lineup that just simply is not very strong. I mean, 1, 2, 3, you got Diaz, Choi, and Rosarena. Aranda, Lowe, Maya, Rayleigh, Walls, Phillips. It's not a dangerous lineup by any means. Let's take a look at the 16,291 tickets in.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, sorry. My bad. 14,526 tickets in. 57% of the tickets on the Rays and 80% of the cash on the Rays.
Wow.
But no move towards them.
I've got -110 now each way, actually, which is interesting.
Yeah, so
I'm moving on the Red Sox. Just want to let you know that. I'm officially going to move on the Red Sox full game -110. I really think, in Slow Jam saying don't be biased as they watch out for the letdown. I think this is a team that's going to try to ride into the All-Star break on a high after that. Again, the Red Sox started 3 rookies, and then Nick Pivetta pitched like shit, and they pulled a split from the greatest team since sliced bread, Jimmy. I don't know if you've heard. The Yankees are the best team in baseball, right?
They are.
That's what I've heard too. And they threw their ace. They threw Nasty Nestor. They threw all their guys, and they can, a split against this Red Sox team with half their team hurt. Okay. But I will say this, Jimmy. I think this is one of your favorite spots. I've watched you cap for I don't know how long now, but I think that this is a spot where Bayo just kind of lets it all hang out. He's not gonna be in the majors after tomorrow. Chris Sale's gonna come up and pitch tomorrow, which, oh my God, I can't fucking wait. That's gonna be 6 to midnight so quickly. So I think he's gonna go down tomorrow. And Sale's going to take a spot. So I fully expect him to pitch well today. So I'm moving on Red Sox full game. And the real question is, I'm going to take them first 5 as well. I should probably take them first 5 because their fucking bullpen is incredibly annoying. And it's been taxed because they haven't had an off day. And they're not going to have an off day till the All-Star break. But we'll see here. First 5 full game for me, Red Sox.
Bruce Hayward says there has been market movement. I'm just meaning from Bet365, they opened this up at 10:45 last night with the Red Sox -115. So a 5-cent move. That's it. Just a 5-cent move. You think with all that money coming in on the Rays that there would be a bigger move. The big bets are coming in on the Rays as well. I don't really want to go against that here. Cheshire Cat, though, by the way, says that he'll show us a trap. No one's ever said that to me. That would scare me. Somebody said that to me. I think it kind of
is that like a Parkdale lead you down the alley kind of situation?
No, I think it's maybe strangely sexual. I'm not sure. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I would not. I would walk away. I would back away, and I would just walk away. If
trap does sound like snatch. So,
this does make me uncomfortable. I can imagine that Bayo will be in a better spot right now. They're talking about a terrible travel spot for the Red Sox. Also, it's tricky, when you play such an important series and then you play another important series, but in an empty facility. I could understand.
Rays coming off a sweep too. I know you don't talk about what happened the day before, but yes, the Rays just got swept by the Reds, which was one of my losses yesterday. Shane Baz got fucking destroyed.
I think Fleming is so vulnerable as a primary. I just think he's so vulnerable. And the Red Sox bats are strong. And when somebody says, why if the Red Sox are playing so well, would this is exactly where the line should be. They're the road team. They're destroying lefties. But, why would they be a bigger favorite than this? I don't see that why they would be. I can get it. I can understand,
especially after Rays got 4 runs off this kid just like a couple days ago. This is a back-to-back start, which usually doesn't favor the pitcher either.
No, and it's tough after Sunday Night Baseball. It's tough. I can understand it all, but when I look at these two lineups right now, I don't think the Rays make the playoffs.
Oh, I'm glad you've joined my bandwagon on that. I felt it's been shaky recently, but I'm still on that bandwagon.
And then, look, remember I said at the beginning of that Mariners Jays series, I was like, when the season ends, the Mariners could easily probably have a better record than the Blue Jays. Mariners are going to be a danger. The Mariners are going to come on. The Mariners are going to be a danger.
Oh, yes, that win total over is humming right now. By the way, I hated to fade the Blue Jays in every game in that series. I really hated to do that.
No,
That was probably the most unlucky / West Coast vortex, like 2 games back to back ever. That was crazy to watch.
well, when the ball went through Vladdy's glove, I stopped watching it. I know what happens. Oh, stop it. Stop it. That shouldn't make you laugh that hard.
It was so funny. Just you reached out, just go, whew. The same thing happened to me, but it hit me in the face once, actually. Actually, it happened to me twice, and the second time or the first time it happened to me, I was in a tryout, and the catcher throwing to me was throwing harder back at me than I was throwing to him, and I was promptly cut from the team.
Okay, I can understand why you're on the Red Sox. Big bets are coming in on the Rays. If there is a concern that your lineup is going to be tired and you have an offensive lineup, I mean, that's a real legitimate concern. It's enough to probably keep me off of it. If you're looking for everything to correlate, well, it just doesn't in this game. Sammy Comer says he's moving on the Rays now.
It's honestly a good fade. When I take the Red Sox and you take the other team, it's probably very profitable because, like the meme says, if I didn't bet the Red Sox, I'd be up 100 units.
Craig Wood says Red Sox 1-7 this year after scoring 9 or more runs.
By the way, Jim, did you know that was the most runs scored against the Yankees all year last night? Could you imagine that? Oh my goodness! With that bullpen?
No, I'm happy to see how. Oh, come on! It's
with that bullpen, Jim.
We're
so good.
We're American League East rivals, and I see how happy you are right now with your baseball breakdowns and your successful season and your baseball team stepping up right now. But the opposite's happening over here.
Well, yeah,
I've had a bad week. The Jays are fucking losing, so let's not just sit back and slap ourselves on the ass too much. All right.
I know when it started. When Vladdy was a little bitch and started to yell at Nick Pivetta for throwing inside. That's when everything started going downhill.
All right. Well, that's fucking great. Andrew G says Jays are at the funeral today, so be careful betting on them tomorrow. And maybe you should be careful. Maybe you should be careful too, Jose.
The chopstick right there in the larynx.
Right in the larynx. But I wouldn't go through. I would just enough so you'd slowly bleed out.
I can watch myself die.
All right, let's move on to the next game.
Yeah, let's move on to the next game. Let's talk about the Chicago White Sox, who you're sporting today. Nice little black on white, Lance Lynn, who is your favorite pitcher. He's right up there with Dick Mountain. Skubal. Skubal is taking a hit, I will admit, but he's right up there with Lance Lynn. Cal Quantrill on the other side. Let's talk about Cal first. He's very much a Jekyll and Hyde kind of guy as well. You don't know what you're going to get game to game. 4-5 this year, 3.86 ERA. Last time out for him at the Detroit Tigers. A start you'd think he'd dominate. 4 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs. 3 of them earned 3 Ks, 4 Ks actually, 2 walks and a home run there. And against the Minnesota Twins, the start before, 8 innings, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 home runs there, 3 Ks, no walks. Cleveland has turned it on a little bit. Against righties, their last 3 weeks, 113 weighted runs created plus. That's 8th. That's really good, especially for a Guardians team that, just like 3 weeks ago or so, they were really struggling. So it seems like the Cardinal or the Guardians are out of their swoon here. Jose Ramirez might be out of it. And I just have a flat rule that I'm not betting on the White Sox and under any circumstance. Just not going to do it. I don't believe in this team at all. The Tony La Russa factor. And until he gets fired, and I don't think he is, I won't even consider betting on the squad.
I can understand that. Quantrill's been much better at home than he has been on the road. His last 2 starts at home were pretty nice, especially the one against the Red Sox, because we all know how they're hitting. I was surprised that Lance Lynn was as terrible as he was in his last start. That call.
Oh, yeah. That was a Joe Ryan. That was our first 5 off right there.
Yeah. And the Cobb, who is also pitching today, that Cobb Lance Lynn start, I thought both of them were moving in a direction where we'd want to bet on them. Jose Ramirez hits Lance Lynn hard, really hard. But, you can kind of pitch around him unless you fear Naylor, and I don't fear Naylor. So I expect Quantrill to pitch well here. And I think it's a pretty easy thing to say. But Tim Anderson hitting 364 off of him in 11 at-bats. But there's not a ton of power numbers behind what they're doing to him. Seems sort of, it seems kind of like rinky-dink offense against him, and he's pitching pretty well. Let's take a look at the line movement here at Bet365. This opened up with the White Sox minus 115. They've taken 5 cents. That's it. From a total perspective, it opened 9 at minus 115 to the over. It hasn't moved there either. So then let's go to the cash flow in this one. 18,082 tickets in. 55% of the tickets, 59% of the cash on the White Sox. 49% of the tickets, 65% of the cash on the over. That sounds all pretty legit to me. Do you see Lance Lynn bouncing back off of that start? Is Lance Lynn going to be a good pitcher this year? What are your expectations of him in the second half of the season?
I pronounced Lance Lynn dead 3 starts ago. I think I'll pull up his full game logs, but it was a start against a shitty team. It was like the Orioles or something like that. And he had a bad start there, and I was like, I'm kind of out on Lance Lynn. And then, of course, the next start, he had a good start, so I was like, I'm still not really believing it. And then, obviously, I took Ryan against him in the start of his last start. You took Lynn, and we both pushed, which was really funny, actually. And he still didn't have a good start, so I don't think he's. I'm pretty off the Lance Lynn bandwagon. He's throwing essentially one pitch, just all fastballs, and he's making a move left to right. And eventually that kind of gets old because now everyone is doing that. Everyone has just kind of adopted okay, well, we're going to take all of our pitches. All of them are going to move. So it's kind of not as, not as unique anymore. So I just don't believe in Lance Lynn. And this is a White Sox season from hell. So it just all combines to me not wanting to back them in any circumstance.
I can understand that. It's also very offensive weather. It's hot.
Offensive or offensive?
Offense. 89 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 12.8 miles per hour out to right field.
That's a knee slapper.
I get it. I absolutely get it. Great to see Elio in the house. There's our guy, El Dorado Custodian, ready to rock. Great to see you. Moose says this feels like an overgame, but Ramirez batting .238 the last couple of weeks. Says Guardians seem to go as J-Ram goes. And Moose Money saying White Sox pen has been much better recently. I
think I only would get it over. I like your offensive weather. I went checking Ballpark Pal, and it's 14-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to basically center field. 17% more likelihood for home runs and 9% more chance for runs as well.
That's going to have to keep me off of this game because I do not fear this Guardians offense. And I know the numbers would tell you that they're pretty good, and they're pretty good against righties, and they make a ton of contact. But when I look at this offense, I think it's pretty easy to pitch around Ramirez. And I know that Naylor's trying to change that storyline, but he's not done it to me. And then I expect this White Sox team to get better and better as the season goes on. And it's fair to call out La Russa. It's totally fair for all of that. But I just don't see anything correlating here. I expect Quantrill to always pitch better at home than he does on the road. And I don't know what Lance Lynn's going to do anymore. And one of the things that we used to love was his predictability, and it's not there now. And so with all that being said, I don't see an angle that I'm comfortable with. So I gotta stay off of it.
My only look here and what I've penciled in, I don't have my Apple Pencil. It's actually behind the camera, so I can't write them down physically. I feel naked. But I am going to look at Guardians team total over 4.5. It's at plus 110. If I think Lance Lynn is done, give me a couple runs, and we've also got a White Sox bullpen that is not also outrageous as well. And by the way, shout out to Jeffrey Blue. That is very ironic there how that happens. I've been trying to get Jimmy on the Pirates, and now I'm done on the Pirates, and you like the Pirates, huh? Was it me being off the Pirates that finally got you on them?
No.
You can admit it. You can admit it. It won't hurt it won't hurt me that bad. It'll affect our relationship, but it won't hurt me that bad.
Well, you know what? I want action, Jose. I want to get in on tonight's action. So let's keep rolling. This game, I don't feel like it that I could comfortably make a bet here. The same with that Rays Red Sox game. I would like to bet the Red Sox. I would like to bet them, but there's just enough with that late Sunday night game and going against such an important series to the whole angle on the Red Sox is Bayo is everything. And I would expect, so I don't mean to go back to this, but I want to have action on this card. Wouldn't you say that when Fleming comes in, the Red Sox should start eating?
I've never been a fan of the Rays bullpen days this year. Like their bullpen and Pastures have obviously been phenomenal and worked out a lot better, but now I don't think they hit the same. I don't have stats where it says Rays bullpen days and how the other opponents do, but it just never feels like it works that well. And it's not like they're doing it to a team that's not seen these guys before. They've seen these dudes. And Whistler, even then, if Whistler goes 1-2 innings, I think they might get the Whistler too. So I also don't hate a yes run in the first inning there. It's probably juiced. But I do expect runs to be scored here. I don't believe as much in the hangover spots because I forgot what game it was now, but there was a spot where I was thinking about the hangover travel spot too. And I think it was Joe Yurkovich in the chat saying like he didn't believe in it. And I bet on the team that was not or well rested or whatever. And that team just like got smashed. The other team just brought the bats or whatever. And like I said, I believe in momentum, man. I really do. And I think pulling out that game out of their ass or that series out of their ass is going to be interesting.
Look at that stat from Leonard.
Lenny. By the way, Lenny, I love Lenny putting the Jason Alexander. Whenever I see him, I just think of the Milwaukee Brewers now. Whenever I see him, I love it. Let's bring it up here. The Red Sox on no rest following a home game versus the Yankees are 13-6, and if they travel, are 8-1.
Yeah. God. I mean, if you really believe in Bayo, you have to think that he's going to be so much better in the second start. And if you believe that these Red Sox can smash Fleming, and Whistler is not an issue. The Red Sox are coming close to being on my card. I got to stay off White Sox tribe. Let's move on to the next one.
Yes. By the way, Bo Jackson adding the 5-11 against AL East teams, and Top Set saying it's a bad spot for Boston. So I love that the banter is going on.
But that doesn't concern me that much. But although it's a very important stat and it helps us because we cap together as a team, it's a very important stat to drop. But that doesn't concern me too much because the Red Sox are clearly a different team over the last 30 days. And you could say, well, I'm just going to put a line through everything that happened before that. And I wouldn't think that was a wrong decision. So
it's the first month.
Sammy Comics says buy low on the Rays for me off sweep to the Reds. I get it, Sammy. I'm not. Let's keep rolling. See if some other spots jump out.
Let's keep rolling. Phillies Cardinals here. I'll tell you, this is not a spot that jumped out to me here. We've got a non-division road favorite here, but this is a Phillies team that I believe they've already won this series. Yeah, Slow Jam's here saying Phillies already won this series no matter what happens. Cardinals get a split, and on top of that, tomorrow they've already the unvaccination news has already dropped for the Phillies, and tomorrow they go to Toronto and they lose half their squad. They lose Real Muto, they lose Nola, who's pitching today, thankfully, and wouldn't be able to go into Canada anyways. So I think this is a big game, and I think they're going to come out and win today. But tomorrow is going to be tough. I think tomorrow's going to be a tough cap with the Phillies and half their team being gone, and the Jays coming off a funeral, like you guys mentioned. Will that funeral galvanize the Jays coming off of a really, really shitty West Coast trip? Maybe. It's just a very tough to say here. My lean here would be actually beat to the Phillies. Shockingly enough, Nola has been pitching really well. I'll pull up his home road splits because it always does feel like it's Wheeler and Nola who both are always just in the home road splits funk. But Nola, I know for sure, has picked up his shit this year on the home road side. As I pull it up, home road this year at home, he's got a 4.15 ERA and 56 innings pitched, so it's not good. Away, he's got a 2.13, so it would be Phillies or pass for me in some sort of fashion. It has not been an offensive series either, so I don't want to take a team total. And when I think Michaelis is still a pretty capable pitcher in his own right, even though it feels like just yesterday he was like 5-0 or something like that. And every day I make these graphics, every time he comes up, it feels like it's just another loss. And his last start against the Braves wasn't even that bad. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, and 2 home runs against a really, really, really good Braves team, I think. So I had to pass here, but this really is Phillies are pass for me. You know, maybe even like if you don't want to lay the 130, maybe even a run line, but I think it's going to be a low scoring game. So it makes it fucking tough.
Michaelis has been so good at home of late. So strong at home. The 25th of June at home against the Cubs, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 9 Ks, 1 walk. Before that, against the Buccos, 14th of June, 8 2/3, 1 hit. Remember, he was going for the no-no in that one. He got touched up by the Brewers before that, but that was in May. And if you remember, there was that little chunk of time in May and the beginning of June where we thought he was going to fall off again. But he's been pitching quite well, and I think you can excuse him for those last 2 starts against Atlanta and Philly. But the starts he succeeds, he gets a ton of strikeouts. He struck out 1 Philly batter 2 starts back. It's also offensive weather. It's when he steps on the mound, it's 97 Fahrenheit, and it feels like 107 Fahrenheit. With it blowing out 6.8 miles per hour to left field, I find it very difficult. Sammy Comer says, I took the first 5 under 3.5. I completely get that. And that would be
Coach said that too, and I also feel that same way.
But I immediately start thinking of Michaelis sweating buckets, you know, scratching his stash. It's 107 out there. And he just faced this lineup, and they got to him, and he couldn't get strikeouts. Now, yes, he's been a lot better at home, and, you know, Nola doesn't have that issue. Nola didn't face them the last meeting, the last series. So Nola hasn't faced this Cardinals team all season. You have to think that gives him
Arenado at as well.
Arenado.
Jimmy, it might be time to pull out ye old -1, the ye old -1 calculator, because it might be a Phillies -1 spot for me, because you can get the -1.5 at +130. But like I said, I think this is going to be a low scoring game. So would I really feel comfortable wanting them to win by 2 runs? No, at least you get the push, you know?
I want to dive into this a little further, but Fopatashi, they're not even starting Trey Ford this week. So they're going with Cornelius, I think his name. I forget. Off the top of
my baby boy, Taylor Cornelius from Oklahoma State.
They're going with Taylor Cornelius to start. So
broke my fucking heart.
It's
makes me want to cry actually thinking about it.
Still trying to figure some more out with what the Elks are doing right now. But let's go back to this. I think this is saying that if he's incapable of getting the Ks that he needs against this lineup for whatever reason, then Nola's just pitching. Nola is the better pitcher. And the Phillies bullpen's been better lately. I could understand the first 5 full game even.
I don't hate the people that have your first 5 team totals. You can get a first 5 team total over 1.5 for the Phillies at -125. You guys know me. That's about my limit to bet right there. And it extremely pisses me off when I don't hit those -125 bets. So I'm not going to make it personally. But I could see a Phillies first 5 -0.5 at +110.
There's Moose Money. He's already on that. And he says, join me.
I'll join you on the first 5 then. I'll move on Phillies first 5, -0.5 at +110. On top of everything we've said here, you guys know I'm a feel vibes capper as well. Nola's going to have a good start here. I think Nola's going to have a good start, especially after the news he comes out that he's unvaccinated, not going to go up there. I think he's going to be very, very animated and very, revved up to have a good start here. On top of his home road splits, on top of the Cardinals have not seen him yet. Phillies have seen Michaelis. That's my recipe. Sam Colner saying 2-0 Phillies after 5. I like that look. I like that. That's why I kind of like the first 5 under. So this is going to be a good game, and it feels like these teams have played each other like 17 times in the last 3 weeks, or 2 weeks, I should say. But I'm definitely on I would lean first 5 under, but I'm officially moving on Phillies -0.5 at +110. I also don't hate money line at -135 if you like that juice.
Well, this would be the first spot on the board where everything is correlated for me. Every single thing down to a T is correlated for an expectation that the Phillies are going to be good here. 19,885 tickets in. Sports Insights is giving the Phillies like 20% line value. We've seen the market move 20 cents in their direction. 68% of the tickets are on the Phillies and 84% of the cash. Then you have 63% of tickets on the over. Probably one thing that you could say, and I, we're trying to get better and better at this every day, but it seems that cappers kind of overvalue weather and take weather too much into consideration.
I'd agree with that probably. Jimmy, I often forget to look at the weather, and that causes me to just not look at it all and just disregard it. And I've had a very successful last couple of days. So,
and a very successful season. And that's very interesting that you added that. That's wild that wow.
I mean, I'll check it on occasion when someone will mention it, obviously, but I'm not looking at it like end all be all every start, Like, I mean, I don't know what the weather is here besides, well, I guess I do now, the fucking super hot as shit. But like the only place that wind and weather really matters is in Wrigley and in Chicago. But the total will tell you if it matters, And I'll say this, if you see a total that's like a 10.5, 11.5 and Wrigley, you just take the over without questioning it because it's high for that reason. The wind's blowing out for that reason. So, but yeah, I think really it's only Wrigley and, maybe like somewhere like Coors, I guess. But like Wrigley.
I think the Angels Stadium, it's could be really, really helpful when it's hot out there and the weather's blowing out. I think it's very offensive. I think there's a few spots for that. Quickly, Noli's saying the Cards are averaging 1.6 runs a game last 7.
Putrid. With no Arenado today too? Come on.
Yeah, no, this is bet on.
I don't hate your first 5 full game look as well.
I'm with you. I like it. This is the first time that something's been correlated. Okay, let's keep rocking. We got action now, baby. And by the way, the Pirates game is going to start in 15 minutes. Yep. And I don't think I want to start my day.
Would you have said that 20 minutes ago if we didn't find this bet?
No, I would have bet it.
Okay. I figured that. But I'm glad we found that bet before you can make the Pirates bet.
Look at Noli, last 14 days, Philly Pen 0.98 ERA.
My friend Andrew, who's a Phillies fan, watches them every day. He told me the other day, I think it was on yesterday, he told me that their bullpen has been phenomenal recently. And I was shocked to hear it. So there's your proof right there.
Great job, Craig, getting in at -110. Great work. All right, let's roll.
Beautiful. The best game of the day and going to be the next best game of the next couple of days, probably. Braves Mets here. Max Fried versus Max Scherzer here. Battle of the Maxes here. I'm going to double check my lines here because the lines on the screen look a little weird. And no, they are actually correct. Good job by me. Plus 114 for Maximus Scherzer. Now, Jimmy, I would just like you to just pose a guess. You're not going to get this right, obviously, because it's a difficult question. When's the last time Max Scherzer's been an underdog in the regular season or postseason?
Wow. Well, it can't be. The idea that it should be recent if it's a surprise. So I would say that it was in the 60-game season when the Dodgers won a fake championship.
2021. This is last time out. These are the last time since 2020 he's been a favorite or an underdog, and that's it. Just those starts, and look at that win-loss record. He's lost all of them but 2. It's pretty crazy, and obviously you can see the pitchers on the other side here, except for Corey Kluber. There's been a pretty good pitcher on the other side every single time too. So just some random, factoids that I find interesting, and obviously we've got another phenomenal pitcher here in Max Fried, who's been hotter than hell. It feels like the last month, actually. Last 2 appearances, specifically 6 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs, 4 Ks, 1 walk against a Cardinals team that used to be really good against lefties. Cincinnati before that. And Cincinnati, shockingly, sneakily, have been hitting lefties pretty okay. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, no walks at the Reds last time out in an offensive park. The Braves against righties, 127 weighted runs created plus here. All that to say, I didn't think I'd be saying this. I'm going to probably move on the Braves in some form or fashion here. On top of what I've said about the Braves here, too, You guys know my mantra about pitchers about in the IL. You fade them on their first start. They have a good start again. Fade him again. He had a really good start against Cincinnati, which we remember. That's one of the more famous run line value spots in my head, at least, with Nick Lodolo. 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 11 Ks, no walks at Cincinnati last time. I think he gets touched up by the Reds here. I think he gets some homers hit off of him. And I think both teams want to make a statement here, but the Mets have been kind of, tailing off. I think the Braves make a big charge here, and I think they win here today. Now, the question is, how will I bet on them? I also like their first 5 minus a half at plus 110 as well. Plus money, always ideal there. But, Max Scherzer's a fucking dog. He's a fucking dog. And as the kids say nowadays, Jimmy, he's got that dog in him. So this is going to be a great game. I'm moving towards the Braves, probably going to move towards that first 5 minus a half. But as always, would love to hear some ticket count, maybe some Jimmy thoughts.
I think that this is one of those spots where you trust the market. You have a pitcher in Maximus Scherzer who's beloved by the betting public, and yet he's a dog. He's got to be a dog for a reason. The weather it's not ridiculously hot in Atlanta. There's not a ton of humidity, and it's blowing in slightly. So it's not, you don't really, the weather kind of sets up nicely for them. When we go up to the line history, because it could be awful. I mean, we're talking about 107 Fahrenheit, it feels like in the other game. We go over to the market movements here, line history. There's been a 10-cent move to the Braves, and the total jumped up to 7.5. So it opened at 7.5, juice to the under, became more juice to the under. This is yesterday afternoon. Then it goes down to 7, but it did come back up to 7.5 again about 1:30 this afternoon, and then back to 7. So we'll go over to the cash flow then in this spot, and you have 25,282 tickets in, so we've got a ton of sample size to work with, and 41% of the tickets and 53% of the cash are on Scherzer and the Mets, and the market is not moving towards them. So the books are saying, yeah, you want to bet on Max Scherzer? Please, we'll take more of that action. So I agree with you in every way that the public is always going to bet Scherzer. And Max Fried may mean more to us than he means to the Joe public. And I completely agree with you on your plan here. And I plan to do the same. The question is, though, and this came up in that start with Castillo against McClanahan. There was cappers that I love and respect that were on the Rays first 5 minus a half and full game -1 or -1.5. And I was on the Rays full game -1. And the concern was, what if Castillo is lights out? So when we were struggling with the sides, Noli was just cashing first 5 under, full game under. Noli was just cashing while we were struggling. There is a concern that Scherzer could step up here, which I would be so much more comfortable if I could just take the money line. And this would be a spot where I'd be, what is it? It's 10 cents cheaper. So I'm not going to take the Braves -0.5. I will pay the extra bit of juice to get the push if both pitchers are lights out.
So you get, what do you get on that? I have a -130.
I have -125 on the first 5.
I figures. Yeah, I like that move. I'd probably do the same thing. I'm going to move also on this game. A second play I'm moving on the team total over for the Braves at -120 for over 3.5. I just think they get runs off of Scherzer. Say if he does have a bad start, he'll go 5 again here, maybe 6 again. I'll take my chances with a Mets bullpen that can be shaky for sure, except for Edwin. Edwin Diaz is phenomenal. He might make you sweat, but I think he's great.
He's been very good over the last month.
Yeah, he got traded to the Mets, which is absolute dog shit for so long. And this year feels like the first year that he's like been back to like Seattle dude. But yeah, I really think that the Braves make a statement here and then win this game. I will be pissed if it is a 2-2 or whatever, first 5. But the Braves team total over 3.5 is also something I like a lot.
I like this a lot. I feel like now I can even take the Red Sox off of the off of my card because I like these two spots very much, the Phillies and the Braves. I like
Welcome
them
to
too.
Say Hey Plays. This is how we do it, Jimmy. This is the magic of Say Hey Plays. We go through each game, we figure it out one by one, and guess what? We can fucking pass on garbage fire shit games like this next one, Jimmy. Oakland A's, Texas Rangers, Adrian Martinez, Spencer Howard. I know you want to spend 20 minutes talking about Spencer Howard and Adrian Martinez, but I do not, Jim. I do not want to talk very long about this bum fight. We've been on here for exactly an hour already, actually, on a 9-game card. That's very Jimmy the Bag. But I will say this. I was shocked to see a minus 175 for Spencer Howard. Really, truly shocked. I think the A's deserve a little respect. But I just Spencer Howard sporting a 10 ERA, 10.97 ERA. His last start against Baltimore, 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs there. He had a great start in AAA, sure, but I don't know, man. And Adrian Martinez is not someone I want to back either. He had a good start last time against the Blue Jays, but the Blue Jays were in the West Coast Vortex, so who really counts that? So truly, this is a pass game for me with a lean towards the Oakland A's.
I don't know. I would love to have somebody hang out with Spencer Howard or get a psychologist to talk to Spencer Howard because, when he was picked in the second round out of university, I was like, well, this guy, he's going to be really good. And he's been so bad in the majors, and it just doesn't seem to change. And I can't figure out why it's not changing. He is, if you break down his numbers in AAA and you compare them to Adrian Martinez, he's so much better than Adrian Martinez. And now we have a total that's gone from 9 to 8.5. At some point, Spencer Howard is going to be bet on minus 165 to minus 175. Let's just see where the cash lies here, because at some point we're going to get tons of value on Spencer Howard. But the last thing you want to do is bet Spencer Howard when he's a favorite. By the way, Joe Yurkovich, great to have him in the chat, says, I got both teams to score 2 runs here, parlay with both Miami and Pittsburgh to score 2 runs. Shout out to our MDR24. Wallaby King says Rangers every day, but I'm shocked as well. Let's just see where the cash lies here with this Texas spot. We have 16,985 tickets in. There is a slight line value, maybe 15% on Oakland. The 81% of the tickets, 85% of the cash is on Texas, yet it's only been a 10-cent move. Then you have 23% of tickets and 55% of the cash on the under, which I kind of like. I imagine, let's just check out the swish, but so it's definitely, roof's going to be closed. It's 100 degrees. So you have a big ballpark with the roof closed. You have 2 bad pitchers, and the market's taking this towards the under. I bet you both pitchers pitch okay. Look at Jonathan Britsky. He's on the under 8 plus money. Eric Jones on the other side. But, these bullpens, the A's bullpen's been a little better. The Rangers bullpen's been good all year. And I think that the under is definitely in play. And there's no reason to fear these bullpens because they're as good as the starters. And I think there's a reason why it's gone from 9 to 8.5.
I probably agree with you, but this is a shit game, and I'm not going to bet it because I'm not going to watch it, and I have no desire doing it.
I'd love to hear if Noli's moving on this under, because this is one of those unders that just makes a ton of sense. Let's just go back to the cash one last time before we move on. 23% of the tickets on the under, of course, and 55% of the cash, and it's moved from 9 to 8.5. They want over money. Stimmy's on the under in this game, and I get it. I completely get it. When did it move to 8.5? If it just moved, then I will be upset and just let it go. But it moved to 8.5 at 8 this morning, and now it's 8.5 at plus a hundo. Jonathan says the under's so ugly it's pretty.
That's what it sounds like you're saying too.
I am, and
is this how you walk into plays? Is this how you gradually talk yourself into bum fights?
Look, I love bum fights, especially if there are women involved. Oh, only women against women, though. I should clarify that. Okay,
I don't get to see those bum fights. You saw San Antonio,
Yeah, very few homeless. Unless you go under the highway, which is straight, but whatever works. I like this.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So Jimmy moving or leaning at least towards that under. We'll find out if he's going to make it official later. Going to be interesting at least. My last note on this game: Rangers 108 weighted runs created plus against righties the last 2 weeks. That's 12th, while the Oakland A's are 28th. That's 74 weighted runs created plus. So definitely a pass game for me. Jimmy leaning towards the under. We've got 3 more games here on the slate here. One including, I think I could call Jimmy a fan of this guy, Alex Faedo, aka Alex Fadeo, aka Alex Fade-O. I can't back him either here. I don't want to back him at all. Unfortunately for Big Show, shout out to Big Show. I do not want to move on a Tigers team that I just don't have any faith in, really. I am impressed. The most shocking number of the day for me here, and I think there is always a shocking number throughout the show that I find. Right now in the last 3 weeks, Tigers against lefties, 130 weighted runs created plus. That's 7th in the last 3 weeks. So I could easily see them getting to Dan the Man Lynch here, coming off an IL stint, a finger, whatever ever happened to his finger. But in his IL stint, or in his AAA rehab start, I should say, 3 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks, 3 walks. Take whatever grain of salt, but I truly would say Tigers are past here. I know, again, you like Faedo, you think he's a capable pitcher. So I wouldn't hate or dissuade anyone from taking the Tigers here, but I'm not moving on them yet. I could easily probably be talked into them, so we'll see how that goes. Royals against righties, 19th, 96 weighted runs created plus, but this is, in fact, the second half of the doubleheader, like my man Joe Yurkovich is saying. So always keep that in mind.
Grossman, Baez, Cabrera, Haas, Scope, Castro, Torkelson, Candelario, Reyes. Confirmed lineup for the Tigers in Game 2. Melendez, Witt, Pasquantino, Dozier, O'Hearn, Olivares, Ibel, Rivera, and Lopez for the Royals. This wasn't something that I was expecting, but after your statistical breakdown, let's see if everything else kind of correlates with it, because I am really leaning towards the Tigers. And I said 6 weeks ago that we'd watch the Tigers smash lefties for 2 or 3 years in a row, and that the numbers would progress to the mean, and that's what's been happening for them. And maybe we should be making more money off of it. Let's see the weather here. 89 Fahrenheit, feels like 98. It's hot, and it's 12.6 miles per hour in. It does get down to 9.7, but it's hot, but blowing in heavily. We'll take a look at the line history here. The total opened up at 9.5 and it's dropped to 9. So there's an expectation that one or both of these pitchers will pitch well. And then let's see the cash flow here. We have 11,121 tickets. A sliver. 3% line value on Kansas City. 55% of the tickets, 55% of tickets, 59% of the cash on the Tigers, 65% of the tickets on the over. They don't have the cash up here, but there must be big bets on the under if it's gone towards the under. Jonathan, thank you, Jonathan. I completely agree with your lean towards the Detroit Tigers in Game 2 of this.
And the 3-1 win for the Royals. I feel like it's a very popular thing to obviously take the other side on a doubleheader. And Jimmy, some people, I think this is very relatable. Some people like me need to be yelled at to get motivated, I guess. We all remember the mustache saga, and I need to be yelled at to get into shape and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have done the same with Brad Keller, who I've been calling a fat slob for the last 2 starts because I was so wrong about him. And he's picked up his shit and pitched really well these last 2 starts, too. So shout out to Brad Keller for being the fat piece of shit he is and pitching well.
We also talked, Dabby Cab, the last time we had a pitcher come off of the IL with a finger injury. And the finger injury, supposedly, when you're throwing, your ball ends up being flat. You just can't seem to get the movement that you want to get. And then you broke down his light stats, in his rehab stint that weren't very good. You have a Tigers team that's hitting lefties very hard, much harder than one would think or one would expect. And then the question is, can Faedo finally have a good start? I don't know. That's the whole problem. That's the fear, and that's why, when we have like a first 5 full game in the Phillies Braves, I'm comfortable double dipping, but I couldn't do that here. I just Faedo. God, I was so high on Faedo when he finally came up, and he was with that group of Matt Manning and those Tariq Skubal and those number 1 overall pitchers, and then he has Tommy John surgery, so he comes up late. Don Max says Faedo is such a fade, but he shouldn't be.
I'm moving on the Tigers first 5 money line plus 105.
But why wouldn't you want the full game too? We know the Tigers bullpen is so much better than the Royals bullpen. Wouldn't the full game be give you a second advantage?
I just want to focus on Faedo pitching well and Dan the Man Lynch, who I think is going to struggle here a bit off the IL stint. You're right about the Royals bullpen being shit. But let's just say, for example, it's a 1-run game late. They've at least got Stalmont and Barlow, who I think are capable enough arms that they use them in their tight spots and they can get out of jams. The Tigers have Gregory Soto. I just don't want to trust the Tigers bullpen, truthfully. That's my main reasoning. I'll get in and get out with the Tigers win. And by the way, Slow Jams is reminding me, no Baltimore or Seattle today. The last 2 days, I've just been betting Baltimore and Seattle, and it's been pretty great. And also, Pirates are threatening, and if I fucking didn't take the Pirates team total today and they score 7 runs, I'm going to be fucking beyond furious. So you guys might see me have a mental breakdown live on air.
The Tigers are good to be on my card. Whether or not I double dip, I'll have to figure that out.
So that Tigers game's. Oh no, you're talking. I was thinking Pirates. Never mind. Go ahead.
And the Pirates having runners on the corners in the first inning makes me want to smash my computer. If that game had started at 7:10, I'd probably. Well, I don't know. Okay, let's keep rolling.
No, if that game would have started later, I probably would have moved on it just because of the line value. So I'm already a little annoyed. So I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Go Buccos, though. Shout out to them. Not Pirates. Fathers versus the Rockies here. The Padres and the Rockies. And now it is time to fade Jose Urethra here. I thank him, first of all. I thank him for his service. He almost got me that first 5 and full game fucking dub. But that was made up to me. My lifeblood got injected back into me with the Houston Astros A's game, so I appreciate Swerve and Irvin there and Framber Valdez for throwing 2 balls in the dirt. And this seems like a Padre spot for me. Shockingly enough, I'm checking on Bovada right now. We've got a minus 140 now for the Pirates, plus 117 for the Rockies. So seemingly money moving towards the Rockies here. Jim, is that right?
Let's double check that right now. Here, I'd like to start just with the line history first. While I'm doing that, can you look up what the Rockies are doing to lefties this month?
Sure. And by the way, Fireside even saying the Rockies' price is ridiculous. They own the Padres.
So the Padres open up at minus 120, get to minus 135, get up to minus 150. They're at minus 145 right now. So a 25-cent move towards the Padres. From a total perspective, it opens up. I don't know if I can. These numbers seem out of whack. Let me just start at 3:29 p.m. That's what I'll do. At 3:29 p.m., it opened up. It was at 11.5, dropped to 10.5, and then it went back to 11.5 and got up to 12 this morning. Let's go over to the cash flow in this one. 19,910 tickets in, and 50% line value. The only other major line value on the cards on the Colorado Rockies. And I get why it is. I mean, if you're going to be raking lefties, then how big of a dog should you be against a lefty? I mean, I'm not saying that I'm going to sit here and I'm certainly not going to bet Urena after that last game. But here's a guy who wants a job in the show. So why wouldn't he put his best foot forward? I don't want to, after a spectacular performance against the Dodgers, I'm not going to back him and say, oh, it's going to do it again. But I completely understand why there's half line value on the Rockies. 51% tickets, 86% cash on the over. This game has, as much as baseball helps me when we focus on the stats and focus on the market moves and focus on all that, I personally, as a capper, don't want to do that. I more enjoy the psychological angles rather than the numeric angles. But all of this makes me uncomfortable. Urena trying to keep his career alive, but coming off the spectacular start. The implied line value on the Rockies as a dog against a lefty. This all makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah. Doing this little like deep dive research, I'll be honest, I've completely flipped. I'd rather bet the Rockies here for sure. I've pulled up your Rockies stats here. Average wise, they're second this month against lefties, 286. They've got a WRC plus of 108. That's pretty good. That's 12th. But their weighted on base average is still second highest. It seems like the Rockies are going to get to Manaea here at the end of the day, and that's pretty shocking to say. I did not think I was going to do that. Shout out to the people. I saw they're laddering their team totals from 3.5 to like 6.5. I've got a 4.5 at -165, -130, 5.5 plus 110. 5.5 is shockingly enough seems somewhat interesting. The thing is, I don't want to back Urena either. I would rather just back the Rockies offense, who they're still missing guys. Chris Bryant, who's been one of the most hot hitters in baseball, is out, paternity leave. I believe they say CJ Cron back in, but it's a tough game. I'll say that.
It's a tough game, but the more we talk about it, how do you not back the Rockies here as a dog? You have 14 earned runs allowed by Manaea in the last 19 and a third. 4 home runs over that 19 and a third. 13 walks allowed in 19 and a third. I mean, why would he get right here against a Colorado lineup that has great numbers against them? So then the question is, do you want to back Urena after that spectacular start against the Dodgers? And I don't know how you can, but this guy's trying to have a job in Major League Baseball. And that's a real special thing. And we've seen a lot of pitchers around his age say, look, I know what it's like to ride the bus in the minors, and I want to be in the show and change everything. And I can't back him, but this is Rockies or no bet. Maybe it should be a bet. I don't know if I have the balls to do it. It's not hot in Colorado. It's not humid in Colorado. It's 83 Fahrenheit first pitch, 7.9 miles per hour to left field. I love that Big Show's giving you the shout out for 96 straight shows. It's a very, very impressive, Jose, that 96 straight days you've been right here with the crew. But the more we talk about it, the more I want to bet the Rockies. And then if you're going to bet the Rockies, you know what this Padres bullpen has done lately. And they've been really, really good. So if you're going to bet the Rockies, you have to trust them, Urena, and you have to bet them first 5, the way I see it.
It does seem like that is the case here, Jim. And I think I'm going to take the plunge. I'm adding. It seems like I'm walking on all these plays. And are you a bad influence in me, Jim? I don't know, but we'll find out at the end of the day here if you are a good or a bad influence. I'm going to go ahead and move on Rockies first 5 money line at plus 120.
Wow.
It's scary to back urethras. I know.
Look, Ronnie's right. Manaea has been struggling. Coors Field's going to be a disaster for him. I mean, I don't know if the second part is true, but it makes sense. Ronnie says, I like the Padres in this spot. Urena looked good last time out.
I would also say career against the Rockies, Sean Manaea, 0-2, a 5 ERA as well. And let's see how he does in Coors. In Coors, he is. Those 2 starts were in Coors. So he's those 2 starts were in Coors. He's 0-2, like I said, 5.06 ERA there. So yeah, Rockies first 5 for me.
Wow, I think I might have to dive in. I thought I had a really relaxing night ahead of me.
You do not.
No.
Okay. So it seems like you've almost made it. You've been very close to making a play on almost every game.
Well, I'm not. I'm not on the Pirates, and they might not get a run in the thing. I might be fine. I'm going to take off the Red Sox action because there's too many question marks. So let's take off those 2 spots, and then I've still got a ton of action. All right, Jose, let's roll.
Beautiful. Let's roll on to our last game here, Jim. And only you, Jim, you would have my laptop on 13%, almost dying for the length of this show. So shout out to you, Jim, and shout out to everyone watching. Of course, as always, hit the like button while you're here. Don't forget to go to visit and pubsportsradio.com. We can watch the show there. You can comment along there as well as getting all your great merch items as well. We've got the Giants and Diamondbacks here. Merle Kelly versus your old friend Alex Cobb here. And I've got a lot of mixed emotions with Alex Cobb. It's truly difficult to see what's going to happen with Cobb, but his last start was against the Diamondbacks. 6 hits, there's 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 Ks, 1 walk. I think he pitches better than that. I think he just flat pitches better than that, especially since he's at home. Merle Kelly, you have a checkered past with our friend Merle here. Mm-hmm. He's given up 2 runs in both of his last appearances. One against the Giants, who we mentioned, 2 earned runs, 6 hits, 6 innings, 2 hits, 6 Ks, 3 walks. And then at the Rockies, he had another great start. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, only 1 of them earned. So it's a tough game here. I guess I'd lean under, but I don't like betting first 5 under 3.5s anymore. Not since they changed the balls early in the season. Noli definitely is that guy for the unders. And if he liked the under, I definitely would lean more towards that way and warm up to it more. But I think I've already got enough plays on my card, so I'm going to pass on this one.
So I'm just going to copy and paste Mike M's pimp slap in honor of.
Could you demonstrate what a good pimp slap is? What do you need to get a good pimp slap?
You gotta move these fingers back because this is what has to hit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There you go, right there. Now I am I like really soft, happy face slaps. So I don't try to hurt somebody with a face slap. It's a wake up call. It's a happy wake up call for me when I slap face. I'm not trying to injure anybody.
I've got chubby cheeks, so I think you would probably be very happy to slap my face.
You know, I'm happy that there's been another out because if the Pirates were up 3-0 in the first inning of the Marlins, I would have smashed this computer down. So
they got out of it?
No, not yet, but now there's 2 outs. So, no, Jose, I will never slap your face. And I've stopped face slapping in general. That was something that I did in the 30s. If you felt just 2 fingers right here, you turn around, I slap you in the face, we'd all laugh. I'm done with that. Now I understand why it's, not an acceptable thing to do in a bar. We used to also go stand in a circle, all do a shot and slap the person to their left. I mean, that was a game. We would go around in a circle, slap, big laughs. I'm done with that. I can understand how it can be emasculating. And as a 42-year-old man,
just how you like when you call someone buddy too. It's emasculating.
No, that's, I didn't realize how bad buddy sounded until I saw Mr. Gokster call, Hispanic people buddy. And then I was like, oh no.
I'll admit, every time I think about it, I get a little more annoyed for the guy. I just think about it. I'm just like, I imagine me just having a nice day serving and a bunch of just pasty drunks come in, just start calling me buddy.
Pack of fucking yahoos come in.
Your dad.
All right, here we go. The Diamondbacks, there's been...
Fuck off. God damn it. The fucking Pirates scored 2-0.
Oh, I should be on them.
I was, Jimmy, I have it pulled up on my Bovada right now. I let you cook, but I could have bet a live team total over 3 at -105. That's fucking sickening.
I know. We should have moved on them when we saw the full line value and when
it's always win, Jimmy. We just have to commit.
Noli said he thinks Keller's going to be nice out there. That's a fucking mistake. Just a fucking mistake. I'm just seething. I'm so fucking angry. Okay, there's been a 5-cent move towards the Diamondbacks. They've gone from +140 to +135, and the total's gone from 8 to 7.5. Moved to 7.5 last night, and is there right now. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. We remember that Cobb Lynn start 2 back, and Cobb was lights out. 67% of the tickets are on Cobb and 88% of the cash. But then 60% of tickets and 82% of the cash are on the under. So there's an expectation that both pitchers will be good here. Let's just go to Cobb's game log here. What happened in Arizona? I thought he was going to have a good start there. He went 6 innings. He allowed 3 earned runs. I mean, still had a quality start. And why wouldn't he pitch well here? We know that his peripheral stats are very good. And at home, he's been very good. Even with some bad luck, only allowed 2 home runs and 31 in the third, 3.45 ERA. I mean, let's just go to the weather. Why wouldn't this be a low-scoring start to this game? I don't see why it wouldn't be. You have the wind blowing out at 10.5 miles per hour. It's not warm in San Francisco for whatever reason. At 10.5 miles per hour, it's a straight, but that's a swirling wind and a huge outfield. So I think that the first 5 under is a good look. And what? Okay, let me ask you, what is the Diamondbacks last bullpen this month? That'll be my last question, because maybe this is a double up spot. Ronnie and Berge taking Arizona plus 1.5 in a game where the volatility is expected to be low. I could understand why you were on that.
Let's find out here. Relievers, and you want the last month, correct? Or I guess
yes, Diamondbacks last month.
Currently in the month of July, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and you want ERA?
Yeah.
Cool. Arizona Diamondbacks. Oh, this can't be right. Relievers, team pitching stats in the month of July. Yep. 7th. They are 7th worst. 4.75 ERA.
And these numbers against Cobb are legit. No power. But some of these guys can get to him, but no power at all. You know what? I think this will be an under game. I think both pitchers will pitch well here. Yeah, I agree. I think this will be an under spot. I agree with the market move. I think it makes sense. It all correlates. So, yeah, I'm going to move on the under in this one.
Okay, beautiful. I'm not. I want nothing to do with this game. You know, I will say I will do appreciate the chat, because I was sitting here seething in my anger about not taking the Pirates, and then I look at like all the people taking the Pirates in the chat, and it makes me feel a little better. That like 80% of the chat is on the Pirates. To us two jamokes are not, but at least everyone else is.
If we help them get there. If this game was starting in 11 minutes, let's not talk about that stupid bullshit. What if garbage? But I'm happy that you guys did, and you know, it just made sense. And I think that we got to trust what the numbers sort of indicate. And here, you had this full line value on the Pirates. You had this 25% of the tickets, but 40% of the cash. I mean, those are the numbers we must look for at all times, you know, when those things sort of correlate like that. And
I can see your hands. I can see what you're doing with your hands right there. Are you sweaty over there, Jimmy?
I'm about to have a ton of fucking action that I'm going to throw in here in about fucking 5 minutes. So
you got to, because these games are starting in 5 minutes too.
You know, I did not have a very good week last week, and I got to my high watermark of the season, but probably about 11 or 12 days ago. So I think that this will be this is an important night for me all of a sudden, and I hope to get that fucking papier, man.
Well, I send my apologies to your family in advance for your actions and mood this night, if it is a poor one. Send my apologies in advance.
Oh, God, I'll tell you how much attention I'll be paying to my family tonight. Fucking squad ass zilch.
Well, I guess send them my apologies in that regard as well. But Jimmy, let's recap our plays here, because we've got a little under 5 minutes left before half these games start. Quickly, I'll recap mine here. Okay. Did not think I was going to move on all these plays, but we're going to make them all official and move on them. First of all, I'm on the Red Sox money line. Right now, I can get even money on the Red Sox, which is concerning. It moved from minus 110. It was minus 115 before, minus 110. Must have moved to minus 105, and now it's at even money for the Red Sox. So I'm moving on the Red Sox at even money now to win the game. My heart's probably getting broken, but that's what I do here. I'm a fucking biased piece of shit, and I bet on the Red Sox. But that is what I'm on there. The next bet I'm on, I have to click on all these. I'm on the Guardians team total over 4.5 at plus 110 there. Shout out to Los Guardians. Sorry, this I did not have my pencil. I didn't write these down, so I'm going through my Bovada. Phillies minus a half at minus 110, plus 110, minus a half at minus 110 for the first 5 innings. Braves minus a half, first 5 innings, plus 110 as well. We also took the Braves team total over 3.5 at minus 120. I'm on the Tigers first 5, plus 105 there. Believing in Fideo, a.k.a. Fado. Shout out to Sonny Corleone, who actually died recently as well. And the Colorado Rockies plus 120, first 5 innings. And last play, oh no, that's the Red Sox play. So that is it. So those are all my plays right there. Jim, what about you?
First, my man, not applicable in the house. Been a while since I've seen him. Over 7.5 for him in the Pirates game. Atlanta first 5, Philadelphia first 5, Arizona first 5 for not applicable. Nice to see you back in action, man. I'm going to double up on 3 different teams, first 5 in full game, and first pitch is in 7 minutes, so I'm going to have to move pretty swiftly. Phillies,
Greg,
first 5 full game. Braves, first 5 full game. Tigers, first 5 full game. Then I'm going to take the Oakland, Texas full game under. I'm going to take the Rockies first 5, and I'm going to take the Arizona first 5 and full game. No, I'm not. I'm going to take Arizona first 5 under. I'm not going to take them full game. I don't trust either bullpen, and I don't want to double up there. So
we got a good look at your gizzard there.
How does it look?
Healthy.
Perfect.
Healthy.
Perfect. I got to get this action in, man. I got to. But before we, fuck off. God, I'm just thankful for the opportunity to do this, and all these great cappers in the chat whom I love so much. JP's, he only knows, Melvin Davis, Andrew G, Paul Trippy, Moose Money. I know you want to give him a shout out as well, so I won't take that from you. But just
please,
Viper and Lucas Ryan, Nikolai Jubinski, Tease, Michael Irvine. I mean, we could just go on and on and on. MDR 24, Fireside. God, you guys do so much for us in every facet of life, and so thank you for your support. It means a ton. And Jose, thank you for having me, my man. I love working with you, and I can't wait to work with you all week. And I'm doing 96 straight shows is extremely impressive, and I just love what you've done on Say Hey Play. So enormous respect to you. And the last 2 weeks you've been so magical on my show. I don't know how you're going to top it this week, but I'm excited to see how you try.
I was thinking about this the other day, and you can please put in your action while I say all this stuff, because you need to do all that before it gets in, or else you'll feel the wrath of Greg, or whatever your bookie's name was. I just call him Greg. But I will shout out everyone in the chat, of course. You guys have all been phenomenal as always. Moose Money, B Lab, all you guys, Lucas Ryan, Puzzler, you guys are all phenomenal. Wallaby King, shout out to you, my guy. I hope you're surviving the Texas heat. I had to take my parental car and go to San Antonio or go to Southtown, because we're getting rolling blackouts, Jim, because it's so hot here that the power companies cannot leave on the fucking energy too long, apparently, or some shit. But shout out to Texas for being a hellhole in that aspect. Jim, we've got the All-Star break here coming soon, about a little under a week now. What the fuck are we going to talk about? Are we just going to take 3 days off? 2 days off? It's really 2 days off of betting with the bag.
Yeah.
There's no sports, so we're off on those 2 days?
Don't fight it, baby. Go down to the beach. Don't fight it.
I will admit to you, I actually am. I think I am going to go down to the beach in one of those.
Don't fight it, man. You take what sports gives you, man.
It's gonna be very fun. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to even JR. Shout out to JR, who's eventually come around. Apparently, I paid. He said earlier in the show that I paid him for the eighth. I don't remember doing it, but I did.
Remember I told you that Phillies first 5 was -125, and there was a concern that Michaelis. No, that was the Atlanta, wasn't it? Sorry, was that Atlanta?
No, I think it was. I think you were right.
What was that? No, it was.
Let me double check.
No. It was Atlanta. Okay, no, it's all good. It's all good. So Phillies has to be a first 5 -1/2 full game -1. Atlanta doesn't have to be. Okay, sorry.
No, hey, talk it out. We talk it out. Your preparation level today was excellent, Jimmy. We were all proud of you. We didn't know where this show was going to end up, and it ended up in a good place, I think.
Well, thank you for having me, my man. Let's get that fucking money, though.
Let's get that papier, as they say in Bonsoir Francais. All right, guys, it's been fun. We've got Say Hey Plays 97. Mañana is it today 96? Hold on. Yes, today was 96. So tomorrow is 97. Who is the guest tomorrow? It's not going to be Ian Cameron, because Ian Cameron is a sick boy.
COVID.
Well, we thought it got him here.
No,
we thought it got him here.
We all think it did, though. We're pretty sure it did, but he got it again.
I'll never forget Ian's face of just death.
Ugh.
Just fucking, just dead. He looked like he just died, but I'm glad he's still alive. I will figure out who the guest is for tomorrow. It's going to be fun. The Say Hey 100 crew is slowly coming along, and it's going to be a fun show for sure. Multiple cappers, all that good stuff, and much, much more. Jimmy, thank you so much for joining me. Follow me on Twitter. I did change my thing. It's not nice. It's nothing nice anymore. Follow me on Twitter at Jose Bouquett. You'll see my plays on the Twitter machine there. It's going to be a great time. And Noli, apparently I owe you a punishment. Do I owe you a punishment? I don't remember. But shout out to you, Noli. I appreciate you for making unders great again. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you mañana. Peace.